Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Ata Pratamodhyayaha
Atha Prathamodhyayaha
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha
Samavedatsyoyosavaha
Amagav Pandavaschaiva
Mamakav Pandavaschaiva
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
First shloka of the Gita as presented by Vyasacharya through the mouth of Dhritarashtra is this shloka that is in the form of the question asked to Sanjaya, his charioteer, what were my people, my sons, and the sons of Pandu assembled in Kurukshetra doing? Where doing? We are reading that. Now, last class we saw that Deva factor is important, which determines the successful accomplishment of a task. In addition to prayatna, effort, prarthana also is important. Prarthana, through prayer, one can tap the Deva factor and turn even the unsuccessful event into a successful event. That power, that possibility is there for prarthana, for prayer. Now, Bhagavan Krishna was chosen by Arjuna because Arjuna knows his presence would make the difference. Success is determined by Krishna, not by his army. So the factor of Krishna, otherwise Deva, is important. Arjuna, being intelligent, chose Krishna correctly. He could ascertain the Deva factor and chose Krishna. Then Krishna had told in the beginning, if I was chosen, I would not fight. I will not lift a weapon. And Arjuna had chosen. So what he would do with Krishna, he asked Krishna to be his driver, charioteer. So Krishna by his side, always by his side, in front, he can see Krishna and fight the war. So now Krishna has become the charioteer as Arjuna's charioteer. Arjuna thus handed over his chariot, horses, and himself into Krishna's hands. Choosing Krishna is surrendering to Krishna. It's amazing, beautiful thing that you will note here. Arjuna chose Krishna. Choosing Krishna is surrendering to Krishna. He handed over the entire responsibility of driving the chariot, taking care of the horses and the condition of the chariot, and himself to the hands of Krishna, surrendered to Krishna. because he will determine the course of the war, not me. Even though my effort is involved, Krishna's the factor Krishna factor is important more than the Prayatna factor, Krishna factor, Arjuna value. Therefore, he handed over everything to Krishna's hands. Every arrow had to pass through Krishna before it reached Arjuna. Amazing. The sentence. Krishna sitting in front of the chariot. So every arrow which Arjuna will shoot, without the approval of Krishna, he will not release it. So it has to pass through Krishna only. Therefore, it will hit the target. With the blessings of Krishna, every arrow is shot by Arjuna. That is the meaning. Every arrow had to pass through Krishna. Krishna is sitting in front. Arjuna sitting, standing in the chariot, not sitting, standing in the chariot. When he releases the arrow has to pass through. Krishna has to see the arrow, bless the arrow, so that it is the target. When you keep the Krishna, the divine factor, Deva, in front of you, and do what you have to do, fighting or whatever the arrows that come to you will have already been entered. Releasing arrow from the bow is one thing. Similarly, the arrows which are shot by the enemies, that also has to pass through Krishna. So Krishna as a protector always there in front of Arjuna. Deva factor is there that protects Arjuna from all troubles, all problems. So everyone needs to have this factor of Deva to be supportive, to be protective all the time. Therefore, only puja and all, everything, every day, Nitya puja and all required to be done to invoke Deva factor. That is why when we do Sankalpa during puja, we say, Mamopata samasta durita kshedvara, Shri Parameshwara Prityartam, durita kshedvara, durita. What will unfold, what durita, what papam will unfold today, we don't know. Therefore, in the morning itself, when we do puja, we invoke the blessing of the Lord and asking him to nullify all the duritas which may unfold today. So, invoking the Deva factor and asking him to nullify all the durita factor and make my life comfortable, make life trouble-free, problem-free. With the prayer, we start. So, here Krishna is Krishna being there all the time in front of Arjuna. Through his blessing only, the arrows from the bow of Arjuna reaches the target. Similarly, the arrows from the enemies can pass through, it has to pass through Krishna only through Krishna only. Without the approval of Krishna, even it cannot cross Krishna and enter Arjuna. By the time it has passed, one time it happened, the arrow, the Nagastra was shot by Karna. Krishna knew the Nagastra going to come and it passed through Krishna, but Krishna intelligently he protected Arjuna by tapping the Ratha. The Ratha went inside the earth and the arrow which was about to pass through the head of Arjuna, it just touched his crown. It touched only the crown. Only the crown was shot, not the head. Missed the target. Karna missed the target. The target was the head. The target was the head of the Arjuna, but it missed the head and touched the crown of Arjuna. Because Krishna was there. By the case of Krishna, Arjuna's head was protected. So, therefore, the factor, Krishna factor, Deva factor is important. This is exactly what happened when Arjuna fought with Karna. This is what I said, fought with Karna. Karna was considered to be the answer for Arjuna. The right person, the only person who can fight with Arjuna is Karna. Duryodhana had cultivated him only for that purpose alone. Duryodhana knows that Karna was the only answer, right person to handle Arjuna equally or more equally, not more equally, more. In fact, Karna was more powerful than Arjuna because of Shapa, because of many curses, what he had incurred from many people. He was not successful in the war. That there would be finally a duel between the two was a foregone conclusion. Again, except Arjuna and Krishna, nobody else was a match for Karna. Krishna, knowing all this, had very intelligently planned for that day. At first, when he knew that when the war was inevitable, he himself met Karna and tried to convince Karna that he should join the Pandavas by revealing to him the truth of his birth. What is the truth of his birth? Karna was the eldest of the sons of Pandu. This was revealed by Krishna to Karna. He told Karna that he is in fact a Kaunteya, the son of Kunti, like Arjuna, the born of Lord Surya. Arjuna was born of Lord Indra. Similarly to Kunti, Karna was born of Lord Surya. Therefore, being a son of Kunti, Karna is also Kaunteya only. Arjuna is addressed by Krishna in Gita as Kaunteya, a Kaunteya. Kaunteya means son of Kunti. Karna also son of Kunti only. It's not a Radheya. But he thought he was Radheya. When Krishna revealed that he was Kaunteya, he was happy at that moment. But realizing that he had promised Duryodhana that he would be his side, therefore, he told Krishna also and as well as Kunti also, when they asked Karna to join the side of Pandava, he denied and said, since he had given promise to Duryodhana, he would fight only on behalf of the Kauravas. And he had given a promise to Kunti, either I will survive or Arjuna will survive. It means 5 of the sons, 5 of your sons will survive. If I survive and if Arjuna dies, then also you will have 5 sons. If I die and Arjuna survives, then also you will have 5 sons. Therefore, you will have 5 sons always. That promise Karna gave. So Karna gave certain promises and Karna incurred some shapas, some curses. Because of these promises and curses only, Karna became vulnerable in the war. Otherwise, Karna would have defeated Arjuna. And this also was possible because of Krishna only. Had Krishna not been there with Arjuna, then Karna would have won. Arjuna was protected all the time by this Deva factor called Krishna. However, being the noble person that he was, Krishna, the Karna, refused to ditch Duryodhana at the last moment. That was the greatness of Karna. Knowing very well that he is going to fight with his own brothers, blood brothers. Karna, he refused to join the army of the Pandavas. Arjuna did not know. Had he known, probably he would not have fought with Karna. Karna knew and he fought with Arjuna. That is a greatness. Later, after killing Karna, when realizing that Karna was his eldest brother, Arjuna lamented. He cried. But Karna knew very well that Arjuna was his younger brother. Karna, the eldest, even before Yudhishthira, he knows he was eldest. The eldest, being eldest, naturally you will have love and affection for the younger brothers, even though he had, but still he was ready to fight. Krishna made sure that Karna made a vow that he would not kill any Pandava other than Arjuna. That is a promise Krishna intelligently had taken from Karna. To extract this vow from Karna, Krishna had tutored Kunti very well. Krishna got this. Krishna made Karna give this vow through Kunti. He did indirectly, not directly, through Kunti, he did very well. Kunti, at the behest of Krishna, went to Karna and told him the story of his birth and requested him to join the Pandavas. Again, he refused. When Krishna asked, he refused. When Kunti asked also, he refused. But he promised her that he would spare all her other sons except Arjuna. It means she will always have 5 sons. He told her that he would not kill any of the others. Even though he had chance to kill, but he did not kill any of his brothers. And if it came to a combat between him and Arjuna, one of them would live, and she still would have 5 sons. Kunti will have 5 sons still. He wanted nothing more than to kill Arjuna in order to show his gratitude to Duryodhana. So that is that's what this Karna character reveals. Gratitude reveals the quality called gratitude. Giving one's word was very important and was upheld even at the cost of one's life. Once a word is uttered, that has to be followed. One has to stick to the promise. So that was a value. The two epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana, are filled with the situations based on someone having given his or her word. Ramayana also the same. Dasharatha gave 2 boons to Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi he encashed the boon when Rama was about to be coronated. Dasharatha had given promise that he will give boon. He has to give. He cannot go back. Even though he loves his son Rama much, but because of the word he had given to Kaikeyi, he had to send Rama to the forest. So, therefore, Vachana Paripalanam is a value, important value. That is, you can see in Mahabharata, Ramayana, and all the other Purana stories, etc. Karna had been born with kundalas, earrings. Naturally, with kundalas, earrings, he was born in his ears and a kavacha, an armor on his chest. Surya Putra Karna was born to Kunti through the Surya Bhagavan. Therefore, Surya Bhagavan blessed him with kundalas and kavacha. This means he was gifted. He was a brilliant person and had the blessing of Lord's Son. However, he had one complex. What's a complex? He could not accept the fact that he was not a Kshatriya. He was a Kshatriya, but he doesn't know. He was brought up by Radeya. He was brought up by a charioteer. So therefore, he thought he was a Radeya, not Kshatriya. He thought he was not a Kshatriya because he didn't know. When he was born, Kunti packed him and sent him to the river in a box. And he was picked up by the person and by a person, and he brought him. So Radha was his father, some mother. Therefore, he was called Radeya. Not that. Therefore, he thought I'm not Kaunteya, Radeya. So Radeya means they are not Kshatriya. It was picked up by a Vaishya probably. So he thought he was not a Kshatriya. So all the time he had this complex. Because he was not a Kshatriya, therefore he was not eligible to participate in any of the war games. After all, I am only the son of the chariot driver. He would say. Because he did not know who his real parents were, he always thought that he was a charioteer's son. Charioteer's wife is Radha. Therefore, only Karna is called Radeya. His entire lot in life, however, was with the Kshatriyas because he was brilliant in archery, having acquired expertise. This expertise from Parashurama was an avatar, like an avatar. Parashurama was considered to be an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. From him, Karna had learned the archery. And Parashurama will not teach Kshatriya. Therefore, in the guise of a Brahmana, Karna learned. But later, when Parashurama understood that he was a Kshatriya, then he cursed Karna that he would forget when he would forget whatever he had taught when it is required to be, when it is required, he will forget. Shapa he gave. At the right time, he will forget. When it is required to be implemented, that time he will forget. So Shapa was given by Parashurama. So therefore, Karna had incurred many Shapas. Because of one Shapa only, even in the war, Karna's Ratha chariot, it went down. That time only Arjuna shot him. That also because of the curse only. So with all the negativities, Karna fought. And Karna was, when Arjuna could defeat Karna because of his Shapa, because the Shapa and the bones, what he gave, already it had killed him. Already it had killed Karna. Everything he had given, then with what he will fight? He had given boons, he had given word to Kunti, he had given word to Krishna. He had told Krishna that he would employ Nagastra only once. Nagastra only once. First time Krishna saved Arjuna. Second time, when he was about to shot, then he remembered the word what he had given to Krishna, that he will not employ second time the Nagastra. Therefore, he refrained from employing it. Even though he was compelled by his charioteer, but he did not do because he had given word. So, bound by words and the what he had given and Shapa, Karna was already killed. So, therefore, his story is a sad story. Parashurama's curse on Karna. Parashurama had made a vow that he would never teach a Kshatriya because of some problems he had with them as a child. In fact, he had made a vow to destroy them and he destroyed a lot of Kshatriyas. Parashurama is known. Parashurama was a Brahmana and he had hatred for Kshatriya and destroyed many Kshatriyas. A man of great powers, he existed even at the time of Rama, with whom he had a verbal battle. Rama also avatar of Vishnu. Parashurama also avatar of Vishnu. So both met once in Ramayana and they had a battle, verbal battle, not physical battle. Karna went to Parashurama as a Brahmana and learned archery from him because he went as a Brahmana in disguise Brahmana. Then he Parashurama taught him. One day Parashurama was sleeping with his head on the Karna's lap. The story, this paragraph is a story. A big insect came along and bit Karna. A big, huge honeybee, it came and started biting the thigh of Arjuna. And blood was oozing from that. Although the wound was bleeding profusely, Karna would not disturb his guru's rest. Guru was resting. So Karna doesn't want to disturb the guru. So feeling the wetness of the blood, Parashurama woke up. And seeing the blood, he knew that Karna could not be a Brahmana. Had he been Brahmana, you would not have tolerated the pain. Had he been, you would have made a great hue and cry over the sight of his own blood. If he was a Brahmana, then you would not have tolerated the pain and you would have cried over the sight of his own blood. But because Krishna was able to bear the pain, withstand the pain and the sight of the blood, Parashurama was prompted to ask, "Who are you? Tell me the truth." Parashurama had vowed to teach no one other than a Brahmana. And now Karna was forced to admit that he was not a Brahmana. That is enough. Karna doesn't know that he was a Kshatriya, but he was not a Brahmana. Parashurama had vowed to teach only Brahmanas. And Karna was not a Brahmana. So therefore, Parashurama cursed him. Having been deceived by Karna in this way, Parashurama cursed him. All that I have taught you will not be available to you at the time of need. When you want, that time you will not have. You forget all the mantras. All the mantra. Mantra means all the missiles, the astras are mantra driven, mantra prompted. They're all mantra guided missiles. So you will forget all the mantras means without mantra you cannot launch the missile. So weapons are there without mantra. Without mantras are the fuel. Without mantra you cannot operate it. So it is as good as not there. This was a curse. These mantras were in fact the guided missiles Karna needed in battle. Karna later obtained another missile by the name Shakti for one-time use from Lord Indra in return for the Kavacha and the Kundalas. When Lord Indra came in the disguise of a Brahmana and asked for them. True to his reputation, he would not deny anything that anyone asked as dana, charity, and he had gifted them away. This is another quality of Karna. Whoever asked whatever things he would give. But he had obtained this astra called Shakti from Lord Indra, and he had reserved it for using on Arjuna. And even Arjuna would have been powerless against this astra. Krishna knew this, and all the time carefully avoided the duel between Arjuna and Karna as long as Karna had it with him. He had arranged for a situation where Karna had to use it against Gatotkacha. Gatotkacha is the son of Bhima. So the astra, what Indra had given, which Karna had reserved it for Arjuna, that he has to now employ it against Gatotkacha, that is the son of Bhima. Thus, by careful planning, Krishna saved Arjuna from this Shakti astra. So that also gone. Krishna still had a serpent missile, Nagastra, which he had also reserved to use against Arjuna. And he used it actually. When finally Karna faced Arjuna in the duel, he used it. It was coming right for Arjuna's head because Arjuna had no answer for Karna's Nagastra. It looked as though he would surely die. For a Nagastra, a Garuda Astra, a eagle missile is required. Only an eagle can take care of a serpent. What did Krishna do? He pressed the chariot so that it went down a few inches needed for the arrow to hit Arjuna's crown, not his head. To lose his crown was a great shame for Arjuna because he was no mean fighter, but at least his head was saved by Krishna's intervention. Krishna did not fight, he only pressed the chariot down. Stories such as these show the play of Deva, the unknown factor in any situation. During the war, Arjuna kept this factor in front of him in the form of Krishna, his driver, and thereby saved himself. Everyone's life is a battle. The awareness that Krishna, in other words, the Lord is always with you, everything becomes easier. Arjuna did this and it saved him all the way. There were many occasions like this one, either before, during, or after the war, when Krishna's presence as an unknown factor made significant difference in the life of the Pandavas. The blind Dhritarashtra knew that war had been declared. Sanjaya had just returned from the war front carrying the news that Bhishma had fallen on the 10th day of the war. Dhritarashtra was shocked at the news and after lamenting the fall of Bhima, requested Sanjaya to tell him everything in detail that had happened after the war had been started. This request forms the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita, the dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. This dialogue called the Bhagavad Gita occurred at the beginning before the war actually started. And this dialogue was reported verbatim by Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra was not only visually blind, he was blind in his thinking also, as this can be seen in the first verse itself. But this will stop. Dhritarashtra's question we will see next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.